amongst the jurors, we are still unable to reach a unanimous decision.
YNW Melly has been sitting behind bars for 6 long years, waiting on a verdict that felt like it would never come. But now, the wait is finally over. Word on the street is the delay wasn't just about legal backlogs. There's talk that prosecutors were stalling intentionally, holding off until Florida changed its laws to make it easier to seek the death penalty. Once that legislation passed, things started moving. The verdict just dropped, and let me tell you, no one saw this coming. In this video, we're breaking down everything. The legal chess game behind the delays, the drama in the courtroom, and how Melly reacted when the verdict hit. The streets have been waiting on a verdict that felt permanently postponed. The case against YNW Melly seemed strong, yet pre-trial motions dragged on. His legal team pushed for bond, but prosecutors opposed it fiercely, citing the seriousness of the charges and flight risk. The judge agreed. Melly stayed locked up. Why the delay? Several factors. The case itself is complex, with tons of digital and forensic evidence. COVID-19 also played a role, slowing courts everywhere. Still, the length of this pre-trial detention sparked major public debate. Some see Melly as a victim of a broken system. Others believe his alleged crimes, double homicide, justify holding him. To understand how the system works with young rappers accused of serious crimes, look at the case of Tay K, aka Timur Trayvon McIntyre. In 2016, Tay K was arrested for capital murder related to a home invasion. Placed on house arrest, he cut off his ankle monitor and fled. While on the run, he released The Race, a song about evading capture that went viral. He even posed next to his own wanted poster. But fame didn't stop justice. He was captured in New Jersey in June 2017. Tay K was later convicted of murder and multiple counts of aggravated robbery. He got 55 years for the initial crime and was later indicted for another murder while on the run. Prosecutors now argue that letting someone like Melly out could create another Tay K situation. Melly's long incarceration without trial has become a symbol in debates about criminal justice reform. His fans say he's being punished without a conviction. Supporters have launched hashtags like Chikern Free Melly, arguing he should get bond and a fair trial. But critics point to the nature of his charges and argue public safety must come first. The media, meanwhile, has fanned the flames, comparing Melly's situation to other high-profile cases. The decision to deny bond comes down to several factors. The severity of the charges, first-degree murder, potentially punishable by death, risk of flight, the possibility he could influence witnesses or tamper with evidence. There's also a strategic element. Prosecutors sometimes keep defendants in custody to build pressure toward a plea deal or cooperation. In court, the state leaned on digital evidence. They presented Instagram messages where Melly allegedly responded, "I did that shh," when asked if he was okay. His lawyer, Stuart Adelstein, tried to discredit it, arguing Melly usually spelled that differently in texts. Prosecutor Christine Bradley countered with examples of Melly using conventional spelling, even in his lyrics. Surveillance footage showed Melly and others entering a Jeep before the fatal shooting. Hours later, the bodies of Williams and Thomas were discovered inside. Ballistics indicated the shots came from inside the car, where Melly had been sitting. There was no murder weapon found and no gunpowder residue on Melly, but the evidence suggested an internal, not a drive-by, shooting. This case raises bigger questions about the justice system. Is it fair to hold someone so long without trial? What's the right balance between protecting public safety and preserving defendants' rights? Melly's career, mental health, and future have all been on hold. Meanwhile, the court of public opinion remains split. Some see injustice, others see accountability. And it's not just Melly. Across the country, high-profile cases are exposing cracks in how pretrial detention works, especially for young artists caught between fame and felony. One thing's clear. In the courtroom, it's not just about guilt or innocence. It's about strategy, optics, and power. The feds might be playing 5D chess, while the rest of us are still learning the rules.
And my determination was that this is not a drive-by shooting, and it's based upon this picture here, which is a very good picture to describe it. Shooters at a stationary position when all but one of these rounds are going in.
At one point during the trial, the prosecution brought in gang expert Danny Polo to testify about YNW Melly's alleged ties to the G-Shine Bloods. According to Polo, Melly wasn't just loosely associated, he was deeply involved. Polo testified that Melly demonstrated knowledge of gang signs and frequently used gang-related lingo in his messages, suggesting a strong connection to the organization.
And what does HERC mean?
Herc is a term used by members of G-Shine to refer to each other. It's like calling each other bro or dude.
The state presented photos and texts to support its claim that the murders might have been gang-related, although the exact motive or benefit to the gang was not made clear. Prosecutors also used phone records to track the movements of YNW Melly and co-defendant Cortland Henry, aka Bortland, on the night of the killings. FBI Special Agent Brendan Collins testified that the phones pinged near the crime scene, though he could not confirm they were together at all times. Miramar Police Detective Mark Moretti noted that no devices were pinpointed at the scene itself, likely because Melly's phone had its location services disabled. However, surveillance footage helped trace Melly's movements, including the moment rapper Fredo Bang picked him up after the incident. BSO DNA analyst Kurt Rhodes examined several items recovered from the Jeep, such as a water bottle and a spent shell casing, but none yielded conclusive DNA matches to Melly. However, DNA that may have been Melly's was found on the rear passenger side door handle, the area believed to be the origin of the gunfire. In a controversial move, Florida, prosecutors plan to introduce a significant portion of YNW Melly's music as evidence in his upcoming retrial. According to the Miami Herald, Broward County prosecutor Alexander Buckaloo submitted a filing listing 55 songs, 18 audio files, 14 YouTube videos, and 4 album covers they intend to admit in court. Among these is Melly's hit Murder on My Mind, a track that has drawn attention due to its chilling parallels with the case. The state argues that these lyrics offer insight into Melly's mindset and potential motives. While using rap lyrics in criminal trials isn't new, it remains highly controversial. Such lyrics cannot serve as the sole basis for a conviction, but critics argue they can be highly prejudicial, potentially swaying jurors influenced by stereotypes, particularly those rooted in racial bias. The issue gained national attention during the YSL RICO indictment. Prosecutors used Young Thug's lyrics to link him to 10 specific acts allegedly committed in furtherance of a conspiracy. That indictment targeted Young Thug, Gunna, and more than 24 others associated with the Young Slime Life, YSL, collective. The 88-page document described YSL as a criminal street gang and listed 182 alleged acts, including wearing slime-branded clothing, as evidence. Charges ranged from murder and attempted robbery to aggravated assault, and all 28 defendants were accused of violating the state's RICO law by engaging in organized criminal activity. Even lyrics from Grammy-nominated artists in posthumous releases, such as a Juice WRLD single, have been used in court. Of the 28 YSL defendants, 6, including Young Thug, are currently on trial. That trial began on November 27th in Atlanta and is expected to last much of the year. This practice isn't new. In 2012, lyrics from the song 187 were admitted during Boozie's murder trial. In 2014, prosecutors scrutinized Bobby Shmurda's hit Hot N.A. during his gang case, though it wasn't formally used as evidence. In 2019, lyrics by the late Drakeo the Ruler were cited by prosecutors, and 6699's lyrics came up during his high-profile trial as well. While Boozy and Drakeo were acquitted, critics argue that such use of lyrics disproportionately harms black and brown artists and contributes to wrongful assumptions. In December 2020, Maryland's highest court ruled that rap lyrics could be admitted in a murder case, a decision legal experts like attorney Dina Lefkowitz described as racially biased and dangerous. In response to such trends, Jay-Z and other artists backed New York's Senate Bill S-7527, also known as the Rap Music on Trial Bill, which aims to protect artistic expression by limiting the admissibility of lyrics in court. The bill passed committee review in January and is awaiting votes in the state Senate and Assembly. State Senator Brad Hoylman Sigel, who sponsored the legislation, told Fox 5 NY that the bill seeks to ensure trials are based on facts, not assumptions or artistic content taken out of context.
No one ever thought that Johnny Cash was going to shoot a man in Reno just to watch him die, or Bob Marley shot a sheriff but spared a deputy. But that's exactly what prosecutors are trying to convince juries about across.
Legislative milestone in the fight for artistic freedom. On Tuesday, October 12th, 2021, groundbreaking legislation introduced in November 2020 advanced significantly, passing through the New York Senate Codes Committee, a key step toward a full Senate vote. The bill seeks to limit the use of rap lyrics as evidence in criminal trials, a practice critics say unfairly targets hip-hop artists. Jay-Z has emerged as a vocal supporter of the initiative. His attorney, Alex Spiro, explained, "This is an issue that's important to Jay-Z and many other artists who have united to push for this change. Mr. Carter is a New Yorker, and he's using his platform to make a difference." Spiro, a partner at Quinn Emanuel Urquhart and Sullivan, co-authored a public letter with Eric Nielsen, a University of Richmond professor and co-author of Rap on Trial, alongside University of Georgia law professor Andrea Dennis. Spiro emphasized that he and Jay-Z see this legislation as a potential model for other states. By changing the law here, you not only help specific cases, but also send a message that reform is on the horizon. Fat Joe echoed these sentiments in a 2022 interview with Rolling Stone, stating, "Our lyrics are a creative form of self-expression, like any other genre. We want them recognized as art, not weaponized in court. I urge the governor and lawmakers in New York to consider our plea and protect our artistic rights." The real-world consequences. The case of Drakeo. The Ruler before his tragic death in 2021, Los Angeles rapper Drakeo the Ruler experienced the legal weaponization of lyrics firsthand. Although acquitted in the 2016 murder of a 24-year-old man, Drakeo spent 3 years in jail as prosecutors built a case around lyrics from his song, Flex Freestyle. Investigators acknowledged that Draco did not pull the trigger, but claimed his lyrics proved he orchestrated a violent encounter targeting another rapper who wasn't even present at the scene. "I didn't think they could do that," Draco said in an interview. "I'd heard about it happening, but the way they used my own words against me, it was crazy." Legislation aims to draw the line between art and crime. Senator Jamal Bailey, who is sponsoring the New York bill, stated that the law is designed to prevent such abuses. "We must require a strong factual connection between artistic expression and the specific facts of a case," he said. "Presuming guilt based on music alone is incompatible with our constitutional rights and fuels the systemic racism that associates hip-hop with criminality." When art imitates life, the YNW Melly case in 2018, the music world was rocked by a chilling case involving rising rapper YNW Melly, born Jamel Maurice Demons. On October 26, 2018, Melly's close friends, Anthony YNW Sackchaser Williams and Christopher YNW Juvie Thomas Jr., were shot and killed. Melly initially claimed the two were victims of a drive-by shooting, but as the investigation progressed, a different narrative emerged. Authorities alleged that Melly and fellow rapper Cortland YNW Bortland Henry staged the scene to look like a drive-by. Forensic evidence suggested the shots were fired from inside the vehicle. Ballistics matched bullets found in the victims to a gun registered to Melly. Witnesses also reported seeing him with a weapon and overhearing threats directed at the victims. Despite his legal team's insistence that the evidence was circumstantial and speculative, prosecutors charged Melly with 2 counts of first-degree murder, a charge carrying severe consequences. Victims beyond the headlines. The deaths of Sackchaser and Juvie devastated their families and community. Contrary to portrayals of criminal lifestyles, both young men were seen as talented, ambitious, and community-minded. Juvie was a gentle soul devoted to music, while Sackchaser aspired to uplift others through entrepreneurship. Their loss sent ripples through their hometown, shattering families and cutting short lives full of promise. The rise of a troubled star. Melly was born on May 1, 1999, in Gifford, Florida. Inspired by artists like Chris Brown and Michael Jackson, he pursued music from a young age. However, a fascination with firearms also took root early in his life. In a documentary, Melly recalled discovering a revolver in 4th grade, which he began carrying regularly, even to school. By 16, Melly had been charged with multiple counts of aggravated assault and discharging a firearm in public after allegedly shooting at classmates. This incident later inspired his breakout single, Murder on My Mind, released in 2017. The song's raw introspection resonated with fans, propelling it to viral success and multi-platinum status. In 2019, just a month before his arrest, Melly released his mixtape We All Shine, featuring high-profile collaborations with Kanye West, Mixed Personalities, and Young Thug. The projects showcased Melly's lyrical talent and emotional depth, solidifying his place as a rising star. From stardom to Courtroom, Melly's rapid ascent in the industry was derailed by the shocking allegations against him. Phone records and witness testimony placed him near the crime scene, further strengthening the prosecution's case. Despite his fame and rising success, Melly now faces the fight of his life, a legal battle that could end his career forever.